one of the ways in which you preserve yourself.
That's right. I had a dream one time, and I dreamed that I was on a sled with two other girls. They were going down a snowy hill, and they were going too fast. And I told them to stop. They had to get off. Otherwise, they were going to crash into this train station at the bottom of the hill, and they wouldn't believe me. So I got off, and they went on. And I sidestepped in the snow all the way down the hill. There were lots of trees where I was sidestepping, and I was hanging onto the trees one by one as I went down. And when I got to the bottom of the hill, the sled had crashed or something. So then I thought to myself, that means that has to do with me. Mm-hmm. Part of me would go too fast. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And this morning has been an example of the fact that you're not going to go so fast that you crash.
That's right.
You're going to go at your own pace. If it's step by step down the hill, okay, that's the pace you have.
That must be it.
Maybe that's a good stopping point. I found it fascinating the way in which this client very slowly lowers her defenses. I think those defenses could be broken through, but that, in my estimation, would not be as helpful as letting her proceed at her own pace. I think the client learns more that way. We did see progress in the interview. We went from her perception of loneliness as her problem to her fear of her relationships with men, to her feelings about letting the tender, vulnerable part of herself come out of a cave, to the recognition of the little girl in her that wants to be tenderly let out. She then began to get to the recognition of the pain that is deep inside of her, that is unspeakable, almost unbearable. We saw her partially experience that pain in spots and then draw back. Then finally we saw the feeling that she has that perhaps at bottom she is completely unlovable. One of the commonest feelings that people have. I thought that the dream at the end was almost a perfect description of the hour. She went deeper into herself, step by step, by slow degrees, cautiously and guardedly, because she didn't want to crash into that pain. And she took resting times between the steps, so that I thought the dream described the whole progress of the hour. I feel that it was a working interview, not highly dramatic, and much of therapy is work. And this was a good example of it. I felt present to her. I felt a companion in her exploration. If I were to continue to see her, I think that she would gradually move toward experiencing that core of herself of which she is quite frightened. I like the way we got into metaphors. Clients can say more in metaphors than they dare to say openly. And I liked the way I responded to the metaphors. I liked the way she was able to express her anger toward me whenever she felt it, whenever she felt that she was getting close to a dangerous part of her experiencing, a painful part of her experiencing. And that was easy for me to accept that anger. I felt good about this as a first interview.